I was just reading the vehicle damage chart, and it says one of the weapons vehicles randomly chosen. Bam, right there. That's huge, huge difference, because people would always choose the weapon that was best for them in this given situation. The attacker would get to choose the weapon they destroyed. But now randomly chosen, that's hugely different. That could make all the difference in the world for weapon destroyers. I mean. Everything I'm saying here, obviously, we take with a grain of salt because I've never played it and I'm just looking at it. And one of the things that you have to realize about penetrating hits is not only do a glancing hit takes a hull point away, and if you lose all your hull points, you're wrecked. A penetrating hit takes one of your hull points away and then does an additional effect. So I feel like vehicles are almost a little bit easier to blow up than they used to be. And the guy back here in the corner is going, yes, they're easier to blow up.
Do you have balloons by any chance?
So Shawn was reading the disembarking rules, and I haven't read them, so I don't know if this is completely true, but I can see some stuff that he's looking at here. And one of the things that he's looking at showing is there's some different little charts that I've got going here. And the way they got it set up is you get out within 6 inches of wherever you're disembarking, or I'm sorry, you get out with and put your model in base to base with your vehicle, and then you move 6 inches out from that. So you don't get to have that 2-inch, get out within 2 inches and then move like they used to. But they were saying
on the net you're better off.
No, this right here is reducing the amount of movement. In 5th edition, what you could do.
Except you can move and disembark now.
Oh right. Yeah, you're right.
So yes, the idea that you can move
Before
and disembark
you could go
and still
like
move.
3 inches away.
Pretty much because of your base size. Yeah.
How do
All right, you know what? Gary's got to give us some models. All right, so we're talking about wound allocation. So, boy, I wish we had more fixed. So anyway, let's say this rhino's a unit of guys, right? Yeah, okay. All right, hold on a second. Yeah, okay, so anyway, so let's say this rhino's a unit of guys shooting, right? And it could be a unit of guys shooting. So, and this is the target. So what you do is I roll my to wounds, right? And then I start allocating wounds to the front guy. Let's say this is a captain with storm shield, right?
Right.
So let's say he's closest. So let's say I did, 10 bolter shots, right? Well, let's say here's the wounds. So I did 5 wounds, okay? Now this guy, he makes saves till he dies.
This is only
the way
the
we're
mixed,
reading
This
it.
is the only there's two
Mixed
different
armor.
There's 2 different ways to do it. If
Right.
you have all the same guys, if it's just these same guys, then Shawn. Let's say I did 5 wounds to Shawn.
Right.
I did 9 wounds to Shawn, and Shawn made 5 of the saves.
Good. So
Then
there's
the
4.
There's 4 wounds that are unsaved. So how you remove casualties is closest.
Right.
Closest
So
to your
who
target.
lives?
So
Guy in the back lives.
this guy's dead. Then
Yep.
you randomize between these 2 guys because they're the same. They're equidistant, but it
Right.
doesn't really matter because they're going to both die. And then
Right.
this guy dies.
And in this case, they've already made their armor saves and failed them. I've had
Right.
4 failed armor saves. Now what? So that you take it from the front. Now, but what if there's a captain with a storm shield in this unit? Aha! So we're using this Terminator to represent that, right?
So the mixed armor saves.
Right. So now let's say you did 4 failed saves. Well, no. Now you start with armor saves based on the
here's your
wounds.
Wound pool.
9 wounds.
You did
there
9
you go.
Wounds. Now this guy starts making saves. Just
Right.
makes 1 at a time. So, made it. Now he took a wound. He still has 2 left. So, all of your fire.
He has a 2-up save for some reason.
Terminator armor.
Oh, okay. My bad. Go ahead.
Bolter armor. So 2-up armor save.
Right.
So he just made all those saves.
He just absorbed that entire thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So
because what happens is, if every failed save, it's a wound, and that now if he's gone, then you continue. Then
at that point you would continue going down the line. So if let's say he died, then you had 3 or 4 wounds left, then this guy would be the closest. He'd start making the saves, and he would die, and then the next guy would die because I just rolled a 1 over there, and then that guy would live, and then he would make second save, and he would die because I'm making awful.
But
saves.
if this guy died, it would no longer be mixed. But too late now. You just do it in a volley, I guess.
Well, yeah.
So,
I guess that's a good question.
Now, let's say, for example, the shooting unit was, let's say it was, so this is mixed. So you just rolled a wound. You haven't done your armor saves yet, right? So let's say he did 4 bolter wounds, 2 plasma wounds, and 1 las cannon wound. The person shooting gets to decide which order these groups of of weapon fire is done. So you could, if you have a las cannon, you could say, okay, Smarty Pants, we're doing the las cannon shot first.
Right, because that could instantly.
So now he has.
He made a
yep.
storm shield save.
Right. So okay. So now I want my plasmas, but it wouldn't be insta kill.
He's fine.
Right. So let's just say he had.
He makes well, he took one from a bolter. He took 2 wounds from bolters.
All right, so the attacker chooses
So
which
that's-
weapons go first.
Which wounds from which
well,
weapon.
because you have what's called a wound pool.
So it's like, oh yeah, your Terminator in front. Yeah, I'm not going to throw my bolt. Like you have to take the las cannon first and see if that guy
Right.
dies.
So if you, let's say he didn't have a storm shield, you would
You would try and kill him off with that weapon.
right. You would just go, okay, well, he has a 5-up invuln for the Terminator armor. Oh, he just got insta-killed. And then now the rest.
Which, by the way, insta-killing...
But if you put him here, you could just say, okay, well, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to predict, since he's second, I'm going to predict that the bolters are going to kill this guy.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So we'd go bolter, failed, blah. Oh, now this guy gets the bolter shots. What Janine pointed out, which I think is very important, is, well, it's my turn. I position my guys however I want, right? Because positioning is very important to wound allocation now. So Janine says, oh, just move your guy over here so he's not the front guy.
Right.
You know? So there's now such a thing as flanking in 40K. That's amazing. What a great insight. Did Brett leave?
Yeah.
I'll be back.
The instant death.
All right, so one thing I was looking for was, okay, what about Tyranid warriors? What about orc boys? What about paladins? What about wound allocation shenanigans? Guess what? 'Tis no more. You take off, there is no thing saying, oh, then take off whole models where there's enough ones. No, 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 because that's dealt with in the main thing,
It's dealt
which
with
is you
exactly
take
this.
them off.
You take a wound, you reduce their wounds, but the front guy's wounds are just
Right.
reduced until he's gone.
Yeah, so Tyranid warriors all have, say, 4-up saves, I think. So if a unit of Tyranid warriors using method 1 takes 8 wounds, you just go, here's the first 3 for the first guy, for the second guy. But same thing also with paladins, knobs.
Differently armed models can no longer
Right.
take a
It
single
doesn't
wound.
matter what they're armed with. It matters who's in front. So you control that. Yeah, there's no wound allocation shenanigans. That apparently is gone forever. Models with more than 1 save. Maximum save, go to ground. Yeah, that is, I gotta say, that's wild. It does simplify things.
A lot of people are going to hate it, but it makes more sense in reality. Like in the
Yes.
real world with physics.
That is always a dangerous thing to say.
Yeah, exactly. This game isn't very realistic. Let's make it more realistic. All right, everybody, snip the giant back banners off of your Space Marines. So, anyway, now to me, what that means, does that make... Because I really wanted somehow I wanted Tyranid warriors to come back as a viable option as a troop's choice in the Tyranid army. Because I think Tyranid warrior models are cool. That's all I care about.
Well, the reason that
but now-
here's the problem.
yeah.
The reason that they were terrible and that they were going
Yeah.
away is they don't have Eternal Warrior and they're only toughness
Right.
4. That was always the problem.
Right.
And it's still the problem because instant death, they have it right here. If a model suffers an unsaved wound from an attack that has a strength value double its toughness value or greater after modifiers, and that's great.
Oh, that's huge.
That's huge. It means
4 little
bike
words.
armies are in, man. Bike armies are in.
That is true.
That's
That
beautiful.
is
It's
true.
like, okay, now all of a sudden my bike armies are, well, I mean it's in sort of kind of because I mean it's not like there's a whole bunch of
Bikes
guys.
don't get insta-killed now.
Right. They don't get they don't get
Except
insta
by
kills.
strength 10.
But there's
is
not
a
a
big
whole
deal.
right. But there's not a whole lot of bikes that have multiple wounds. Attack bikes do. You can attack bikes are in
Okay.
because most bikers only have 1 wound anyway.
Attack bike armies are in!
Attack bike armies.
Rejoice, attack bike armies!
Characters on bikes are in.
Fantastic.
But yeah. So you still get insta kill. That's the problem with Tyranid warriors. It's that I have a unit of long things shooting 4 missiles at them,
Rome,
and they don't get an armor save.
Right.
So you just peel 4 guys off.
right. Oh,
They just
brutal.
took 12 wounds worth of death.
Brutal.
Or in close combat. Oh, you got in close combat and you scythed through you know, it's a tactical squad. You side through all my guys but the power fist. My power fist is like,
Right.
I punch 3 of you, and I punch and do 3 wounds, and 3 of you die.
Yeah.
At least that's the way it was. And
Yeah,
see,
by the way, we have yet to get to assault phase, so... Alright, I'm going back to vehicles. Where are you?
I am still reading here. I just read the instant death. I just read the out of sight thing.
Okay.
Um,
Right. Yeah, you can't kill
Whoa.
things if you can't see them.
Whoa.
What? Okay, go
There's
ahead.
a look out, sir rule.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
When a wound
4
or
ups.
unsaved wound is allocated to one of your characters and there is another model from the same unit within 6 inches, he's allowed to a lookout, sir attempt. This represents the character ducking back further into the unit, holding a comrade in the line of fire,
Meat
or
shield.
being pushed aside by
Army
a
style.
selfless ally. If no model is in range, they cannot make a lookout, sir attempt. To make a lookout, sir attempt roll on a 3 or less, the lookout, sir attempt failed on a 4+. The attempt is successful. You must pick a model from the same unit within 6 inches and resolve the model. That's huge with this little scenario
this little
that we were
scenario.
talking about.
So this guy, you're like,
because now
oh,
you
last
got-
cannon shot.
Yeah, last
Look
cannon
out,
shot,
sir.
He's like,
Oh,
well, that
okay,
time
he
would take
failed.
it, but he passes.
Okay, he made it. So this
Yeah,
guy
this
takes
guy
the
takes
shot
it.
too.
Arrgh.
He goes, oh, I've always loved you, Sarge. No.
And then we go back to
By the way,
pain.
I hereby proclaim that whenever you make a lookout, sir, you are forced to do that little action right
Little
there.
action.
You have to actually make the model dive in front of the other model. I've always loved you. Boo!
In front of him.
Yeah.
Like the difference in the fantasy version. Fantasy is the guy goes, "I'll save you, Sarge." And
Right.
When it's, "You'll save me, Grunt."
It's ironic
That's
that your
fantastic.
Marines are red.
Okay.
Like borderline heretical Marine.
So, all right. Well, we'll be back. All right. Thomas isn't paying any attention to me, so I'll tell you guys how awesome it is.
All right.
No, it's okay. I seriously
Okay.
wasn't expecting anything. Okay, great. Yesterday, Thomas is like, yeah, I'm going to the game shop to look at the 5th Ed thing. I'm like, take the camera and find out what it is.
Sixth Ed.
6th edition, yeah. And I'm like, take the camera and do commentary on it. And then I was like, you know what, I kind of think I want to go too. And I think this is better because it would have been driving me nuts all day long not to read it. So monstrous creatures have Fear, Hammer of Wrath, Move Through Cover, Relentless, and Smash special rules. What could those things possibly be? Let's go find out.
Oh, it's uncommon. We'd have to look it up.
Hammer of Wrath
Yeah, I was pretty.
is gets an additional attack that hits automatically at the most unmodified strength at initiative 10. So vehicle building, okay, and it can attack buildings with that too. Hammer of Wrath. So what's Relentless? I wonder. Oh no, this is probably the same as before, huh?
I gotta interject.
Counts
here.
as stationary. Go ahead.
This is huge.
I'm ready.
Okay. I went on
Go ahead.
continuing to read on under saves, and they have a.
Is this for shooting again?
This is no, this is wounds and shooting. Okay.
got
This
it.
they have a rule called focus fire. And what that means is. You might have a unit. They got a little chart here, but I'll just show you with these models
Okay,
here.
here
Okay,
we
so
go.
you got these models, and let's say that these guys are behind a piece of terrain or something. Here's the Reese's is a piece of terrain, and this is a piece of terrain, and this guy's out in the open. So what they can do, what an enemy unit that's shooting at them can do is they can say, okay, well, I can shoot at the whole unit, and just they would take wounds or whatever, but they would get the best cover save or something
Okay.
like that, right? Or I can choose to focus fire at a portion of it. And I can only kill those models, but they get the worst save. So I could focus fire on this guy right here, and he won't get a cover save at all.
Oh, okay. So you can say, all right, I'm shooting at this unit, but I'm only shooting at the guys out in the open.
Right.
Can you say I'm only shooting at the guys in cover?
What you do is, okay, sometimes a unit will only be partially in cover with some of its models in cover and some not. In this case, you have a choice. Your unit can either shoot at the squad as a whole, or you can declare that they will focus fire on the enemies who are less hidden. If you choose to focus fire, you must state your intention before making any rolls to hit. If you choose to focus fire, choose a cover save value. This can be between 2+ and 6+. Your opponent can only allocate wounds to models with a cover save equal to or worse, i.e. the higher value, than the value stated. So, alternatively, you can choose, and then it goes on. Alternatively, you can declare focus fire against models with no cover save. So, for example, if you declared it that you will focus fire on cover save of 4+, wounds can only be allocated to models with a cover save of 4, 5, or 6+, or no cover save at all. So if there's somebody who has a cover save of 3+, or 2+, you couldn't allocate wounds to that group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you've lost me.
Okay.
No, don't explain it again. We'll just assume the people out there have got it.
Well,
Sorry, I was secretly looking at the monstrous creature.
you're just
while
okay.
doing it.
It's
It's the same thing as in school. I wasn't paying attention.
This is huge. This is huge, and the reason it's huge is because
Yeah, go ahead.
there used to be, there's lots of guys who have AP 5 armor, Imperial Guard, lots of Eldar, lots
You mean
of
a
Tyranids.
5-up armor save?
Sorry, yeah, 5-up armor save, and a bolter will kill them.
Right.
For
Okay.
instance. And
Okay.
so what this does is they would make sure that at least half their unit was in cover.
Right.
And then the whole unit would get a 4-up cover save.
Right.
This means that you could be like, well, my guys are just going to shoot at the guys in the open.
Right.
And so the guys in the open,
Downside, you can only kill the guys
I can,
in the open.
can only kill the guys in the open.
Upside,
but they
no
don't.
cover
They
save
won't get a
for you.
save. Well, not only will they not get a cover save, but since their armor value is equal to the AP of the weapon, they won't get any save at all, and they'll just die.
Right. Okay.
So
Now I
positioning is huge. It's massive in this game. It's what I can tell. It's from what I can tell. It's huge.
You determine all these things in your movement phase, like where did you put your guys? Where did they end up in the movement phase?
They're making it into more of a chess game.
Right.
One
Which I think is nice.
one
That's a huge
comparison-
thumbs up,
Yeah.
way up.
One comparison that I had that I had made and heard when I played 7th edition Fantasy was that in comparison to 4th edition at the time and then 5th edition 40K,
Right.
Fantasy was a chess game to 40K's checkers game,
Right.
and there's some truth. There was some
Squares
truth.
versus circles.
There was
Right.
some truth to that.
Right. You wouldn't get punished in 40K by having your guys not facing the right direction.
Oh yeah, facing didn't matter, and I don't think facing is going to matter too much in this game either because that's silly.
But positioning
But
will
positioning
matter.
will matter entirely.
But that is the new facing.
Right.
Which way are your guys, where are
Where they position, and what he means by facing is not the facing of the individual model per
Right.
se,
Like,
but the
not like
facing,
this.
but the facing
Like,
in
where's
fantasy.
where's the special guys?
Right. No, in fantasy you had the block units, and you were always attempting to. I want to position my guys so that when this unit charges me, the classic situation was. I position my guys here so that when those guys charge me, I choose to flee. They end up halfway through the charge, and this unit over here can charge into their flank on my subsequent turn.
Right.
So that kind of idea and thinking and strategizing and trying
Right.
to outthink your opponent and be 2 or 3 steps ahead of him as per a chess game is something that the rules are reflecting here in this rule.
yeah, a little bit more.
What I can, as far as I can tell.
Right. All right. Back to me now. Monstrous creatures, so they get the bonus attack. This is a little bit what happened in Warhammer Fantasy from 7th to 8th. The big guy's got a boost. And I wonder what Smash is. I hope it's something good.
Smash is.
Who has even monstrous creatures? What armies have monstrous creatures? Demons?
Demons, Tyranids, Chaos Space Marines. Yeah.
Well, they have
Demon
demon princes, right? What?
Wraith Lords.
Wraith Lords.
Yeah,
So
okay,
Eldar.
Wraith Lords. Necrons? Do Necrons have monstrous creatures?
They
The guy in
The
Grey
Satans.
Knights. The Dread Knight, thank you.
Yeah, Dread Knights.
Okay, so I'm
Well,
looking
and
for
you gotta
Smash
see
now.
whether or not Dreadnoughts are going to have it as well.
Right? So, well, they're walkers. Okay, here's Smash.
Right. Well, what rules do walkers have? You know, because they're a mix of the two.
Oh, okay, Smash is they have AP2. But at half your attacks characteristic, at double. Well, that's not so good. You reroll its armor penetration rolls, but must abide by the second result. Okay, great. So a little bit like a haymaker in Champions. Okay, so relentless smash, move through cover. Yeah, that's kind of what they had before. All right. By the way, there's a whole page for flying monstrous creatures. Okay, who's got flying monstrous creatures? Demon princes and harpies and Tyranid hive tyrants, rather.
Well, yeah, and
Right?
curious to see whether or not they change. I guess the Dread Knight has a shunt move. He has a teleportation. Right?
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
One of the things that they changed that's huge is they've changed close combat weapons to have different values and strengths. So, a power sword is the strength of the user, and it's AP 3. So, a power sword, which in 5th edition would take away the armor save of a Terminator, will no longer take away the armor save of a Terminator.
What no longer takes away the armor save?
A power sword.
A power sword? It's
Yes.
only AP3?
It's only AP3.
Blah!
It's huge.
Hey,
Wow,
relevant
that's
again.
great. Are they? Well, they were relevant before, weren't they? Oh, good, only because they had storm shields. Oh, yeah. Now you can't just slice and dice them.
Now
But
you-
was
now
that
you
really
need
the
that
problem
fist.
with Power Fist Stormbolter? Because you never saw Power Fist Stormbolter Terminators. Do
No.
you think they're coming back?
Why
would you not
more?
take
They'll
those?
be more relevant. And why would you not take them? Because their best invuln save is a 5-up, and everybody, the meta, the cultural meta, everywhere was everybody brought something in their army to deal with the enemy's heavy unit. Therefore, they brought something that was AP2,
Right.
and usually was either a blast. So, for instance, a Vindicator for Space Marines, or Tau would have their broadsides and their plasma weapons.
Right.
You know, on and on. Everybody would have something that was AP2, AP1 that they could fire in mass to get rid of the 2-up armor save and try and do a lot of damage really quickly to Terminators. So a Power Fist Stormbolter Terminator would then have to rely on a 5-up invulnerable save. And that's a lot worse. That's one-third's chance instead of a 2/3 chance that a Storm Shield gives. So yeah, no duh, the Storm Shields were awesome.
That's interesting. Yeah, well, and the only thing is a Storm Shield is a Thunderhammer guy, right?
Right.
So
well, no,
what-
that's not true. In the Space Marine Codex, the Blood Angel Codex, the Black Templar Codex, everybody but the Space Wolves basically. But the Space Wolves, their guys can be armed however they want. You can
Right.
they can have a claw, they can have an axe, they can have
I'm
a
just
sword,
saying,
they can have whatever.
you drop the Stormbolter for the Storm Shield, right?
Right.
But the Thunderhammer was actually a little bit better than a Power Fist.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
It
that's what
happened
made them so
very,
attractive.
very peripherally, though, because what made it better is if you could strike at somebody and do damage, it would cause a shaken result, regardless of whatever else.
Right.
So if you're hitting a vehicle, the vehicle's automatically shaken. Or if you're hitting another model, and they live, you do a wound to them and they live, they will be reduced to Initiative 1 the following round.
See, that was not even on a hit. So even if you didn't do any damage,
Yeah.
even if you didn't even penetrate armor, the Thunderhammer still gave the shaken and
Right.
swing and last.
Is that still the case, I wonder?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm looking at
who
the
knows?
weapons right now.
Off we go.